Continue part 1. Cyrus gets up from the table and walks to the window. Angle on, Cyrus at the window straining to look out. He can't see anything. Then there's a bright flash of lightning. Angle on, hurry, hurry. The trawler is rocking and pulling against the dock. The bow ropes that Cyrus had tied have worked loose, causing the bow to smash up against the dock. Cyrus, seeing his failure for not properly securing the ropes, is stricken with a sense of fear. At first, he can't speak. Papa, well, can you see anything, Cyrus? Cyrus can't bring himself to speak. Paul, Cyrus. Cyrus turns from the window. Cyrus, the ropes I had tied to the bow, they, they broke loose. The hurry is pounding up against the dock. Cyrus tries to wet his dry mouth and throat. Angle on, the faces of Papa and Paul panic. Papa and Paul jump up from the table. Emily, you ain't going out there. Papa, looking directly at Paul. We have to retie the bow, or the boat will be busted apart. Let's get the rain gear. Paul, Cyrus, are you sure? The bow has come loose. Cyrus, I'm sorry, Dad. Paul and Papa immediately grab the pre-laid rain gear in case of emergency. Emily, you can't go out there no matter what. Papa, as he puts his rain gear on. The boat is our living. Papa putting on his knee-high rubber boots. Papa, Paul, are you ready? Paul, yeah. Cyrus, still standing near the window. Cyrus, I want to help. Paul, no, stay in here. Emily runs up and grabs Paul by the arm. Emily, please. Paul, kissing Emily. It's our life. Emily, no, we're your life. Papa, walking toward the door. Papa, let's go, Paul, before too much damage is done. Paul gives Emily a strong, loving hug, then kisses her. Paul pulls away from the embrace, heads toward the door. Angle on. Papa, Paul, and Cyrus at the front door. Angle on. Emily waking Tikai. Emily to Tikai. You are needed. Tikai. What's wrong? Emily. Papa and your dad are going out in the storm. Get up and go to the door and help. Tikai. Yes, ma'am. Tikai heads to the door to join the others. Tikai joins Cyrus, facing Papa and Paul. Papa, look, boys, that wind is blowing hard. This is what I want you to do. Stand here on the side of the door. Be ready. Put your weight on the door. I'm going to unlock the door. The wind will begin blowing the door open. Let the door open just wide enough for me and your dad to get out. Then push the door shut and lock it. Watch for us. Then do the same and let us in. Papa, to Paul. You ready? Paul. Yeah. Boys, do the job. Paul looks at Emily. Paul, open the door. Cyrus and Tikai unlock the door and turn the knob. The hurricane-force wind immediately pushes the door back upon them, with both of them pushing with all their strength to keep the door open just enough for Papa and Paul to get out. Angle on, Papa and Paul pushing their way against the wind outside into the hurricane. Angle on Cyrus and Tikai pushing the door shut and locking it. The Ball family home in Bayou Dockside where the hurry is tied up late night. Papa and Paul coming out of the house into the hurricane force winds and sideways rain squalls. Papa and Paul grab onto a porch support post. Papa shouting, we must stay together and low. If not, the wind will catch us. Paul shouting, let me lead. Hold on to my slicker, okay? Papa nodding in agreement. Let's go. Papa grabs onto Paul's slicker jacket. Paul nods to Papa and begins walking slowly, stooped over, to let the wind flow over his back. Papa copying the same position while hanging on to Paul's slicker. With the lightning flashes, from Paul's point of view, he can see the hurry bow breaking loose from the dock. As they reach the paved road between the house and the bayou side, the wind knocks both Paul and Pawpaw down and pushes them sliding across the road toward the dock. Paul grabs a tree trunk located next to the road just before the beginning of the dock. Paul grabs Pawpaw's forearm, pulls him close to him. Paul shouting, "You okay?" Pawpaw, "Yeah." Paul stooped over, almost crawling across the ground with Pawpaw directly behind, leads their way to the dock. They reach the dock, and by grabbing dock support posts from post to post, Paul and Paw reach the blowing bow ropes. Upon reaching the dangling ropes, Pawpaw lets go of Paul's slicker coat and grabs a rope. Pawpaw attempts to wrap the rope around the dock post. Suddenly, a large gust of hurricane-force wind grabs a hold of the hurry, jerking the boat away from the dock. The force rams Pawpaw into the dock post head first, splitting Pawpaw's head open. Paul, holding on to another rope, turns to see a staggering faller. Then, to Paul's dismay, Pawpaw falls into the raging, strong current flowing bayou. Cut to interior-exterior LeBlanc family home and bayou dockside, where the hurry is tied up. Night. Cyrus, looking through the crack in the window, attempting to keep Pawpaw and Paul in sight. With a flash of lightning, sees Pawpaw falling into the bayou. Cyrus, no. Emily, what? Cyrus runs to the front door, unlocks it, turns the handle. The door immediately blows open to the force of a cannon shot, allowing the hurricane-force winds and rain to enter the house. Panic erupts in the house, with Emily attempting to calm the other children. Exterior, LeBlanc family home and bayou dockside, where the hurry is tied up late at night. As Cyrus exits the house, the wind knocks him to the floor of the porch. Cyrus looks up from his point of view. Paul is jumping into the bayou. Cut to exterior, storm raging Grand Bayou, late night. Paul fighting to stay above the water and swim in the direction where he believes Pawpaw will be. The stinging rain hitting his face. From Paul's point of view, Pawpaw is nowhere in sight. All of a sudden, Paul feels something below him. Paul reaches below down under the water and grabs onto what he feels is Pawpaw. From the knee-high rubber boots Pawpaw had put on, filled with water, and dragged him to the bayou bottom. Paul suddenly has an arm around his neck. It's Cyrus attempting to save him. Paul, I have him. Get his boots off. Cyrus nods. Cyrus, using Paul's body and Pawpaw's body, pulls himself underwater to Pawpaw's anchored down legs. One leg at a time, Cyrus pulls Pawpaw's feet out of the boots. Once the feet are out, Cyrus and Pawpaw surface together. When Cyrus and Pawpaw surface in the grasp of Paul, the strong winds and current begin pushing them down the bayou. With all their strength, Paul and Cyrus, with the lifeless Pawpaw, direct their projectile bodies toward the bayou bank. But the current is too strong, continuing to shoot their bodies into the abyss. From all appearance, the end is coming. But there are always surprises when it comes to Mother Nature. The wind stops. The rain stops. The sky begins to clear. The currents begin to sublet. Paul, the eye, the eye. Cyrus, the eye of the hurricane. Cyrus almost completely out of breath. The eye, thank God. Paul, come on, let's get to the bank. Paul and Cyrus, towing Pawpaw's body, make their way to the bayou bank. They reach the bank and pull Pawpaw's body on shore. Cut to exterior Grand Bayou shoreline, night. With Pawpaw's body in between the kneeling Paul and Cyrus, Paul begins going over Pawpaw's body, checking to see if Pawpaw's breathing, checking for a pulse, putting his ear on his chest. Cyrus, please don't die. Don't die. Paul lifts the head off Pawpaw's chest and puts his hand on Cyrus's shoulder. You can see Paul's tears strew the remaining raindrops in wetness. Cyrus chokes up and begins to cry. It's my fault. Paul, it's life, Cyrus. Please, we need to get back to the house for the others. The eye will only be over for us for maybe another 45 minutes. Cyrus, yes, sir. Can I help carry her? Paul and Cyrus lift the body of Papa to begin their quest home. I hope you've enjoyed these first couple of readings of the story of the Louisiana hurricane. I will be adding other sections when I have time, hopefully on a very regular basis. I would appreciate again if you could write me with your comments, praise, critique, to let me know how you're enjoying the story so far. Again, you can write me at aa.poinceau@yahoo.com. Let me spell my last name for you again. P as in Paul, O-I-E-N, C as in Charlie, O-T. I want to thank you for listening so far and hope to see you again with the other installments.